Premier Scott Moe apologizes to survivors of the Isle of La Crosse residential school. Renewed calls for the province to sign on to the $10 a day childcare program. And a new truck stop is being built near the GTH.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening, everyone. Provincial leaders and residential school survivors gathered in Isle of La Crosse today, announcing the settlements of a class action lawsuit brought forward by survivors. Hallie Mandrick has more on the settlements and an apology.
It was a historic day for the survivors of the Isle of La Crosse residential school, which was open in Saskatchewan until the late 1970s.
Residential, whether it be day or industrial schools, are a shameful mark on Canada's history, with harmful intergenerational impacts on Indigenous and Métis people. Simply put, these schools were a mistake, and they shouldn't have existed.
Premier Scott Moe offered a formal apology on behalf of the province for the abuse many of those who attended the school endured. The province will be paying $40.2 million in restitution to former students and families of those who attended the residential school, intended to promote reconciliation and healing.
Our first day we got here, the second day, they cut our hair. My hair was long. My hair was up to my knees.
Provincial leaders and those impacted by residential schools gathered in Isle of La Crosse to hear survivors recount their experiences.
We would watch my mom and dad go across the lake, and it was so lonely being left behind as a child. Very lonely.
And the agenda was simple. Residential school was no different than the First Nation residential school, was to take the culture out of the child. That was the agenda. I couldn't use my name. I had a number given to me.
The money will be spent with guidance from the community to address the various needs recognized in the settlement. This will include efforts in legacy, healing, wellness, education, culture, and commemoration. Those who addressed the room expressed that this apology is an important step towards reconciliation.
You know, an opportunity for us to really look at, you know, if we're truly going to work together as we move forward, and as Minister Belanger said, that is rooted in trust, right? And that conversation will continue to happen as we go through the next number of days, weeks, and months.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Childcare operators and stakeholders say time is running out for the provincial government to renew its deal with Ottawa for $10 a day childcare. The current agreement doesn't expire until March, but as Sierra D'Souza Butts reports, the uncertainty from not signing on is leaving some in limbo.
Kelsey Morrison says the village of Sedley fought hard to bring childcare to families in her home community.
People before me started that fight in my community over a decade ago. A group of about 12 of us parents continued that fight, and we were finally granted spaces in November of 2023.
Now, almost 2 years later, Morrison says the community is still fighting to provide affordable childcare.
To know that all of that hard work has gone unnoticed and could literally be lost.
Organizations are urging the government of Saskatchewan to renew its deal with Ottawa on $10 a day childcare before its current agreement expires in March. QP Saskatchewan says federal funding is needed to increase workers' wage top-ups to $8.50 an hour, along with providing families access to care at a lower cost.
Centers will lose funding they rely on to keep their doors open. Many childcare centers will close. This means childcare workers lose their jobs and parents lose their childcare spaces.
Saskatchewan is one of 2 provinces in the country that has yet to renew a federal funding agreement, Alberta being the other.
Sign the deal and don't add for-profit to the mix if you're waiting to do that. Not-for-profit, publicly funded childcare is what we need.
When asked for comment, the provincial government sent a statement saying it's confident that a new agreement will be signed prior to the expiry of the current one, and has reached out to the federal government multiple times to negotiate an extension. In the meantime, childcare providers are left in limbo.
If this government doesn't get a deal, it's heartbreaking to think about.
The province also says it remains ready to negotiate a better agreement with the feds. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
A large truck stop will be built on the Trans-Canada Highway just west of Regina, one of 3 new facilities being built to accommodate truckers. Wayne Mantika has more.
Construction crews spent the summer adding on and off ramps at the Grand Coulee turnoff. Roadwork is nearly complete.
Oh, there's going to be a big development there. There's going to be a pretty massive truck stop going in that area.
The provincial government has invested $9 million on intersection improvements. It says the truck stop will be built by Suncor Energy. That company typically operates under the Petro-Canada brand.
They're in partnership with the ministry on developing that whole area. It'll be a kind of a roundabout on the north side of number 1 highway that'll access for trucks coming in and out and going through the province for service that they want to provide to.
The new truck stop is one of 3 commercial fueling facilities being added in the Regina area. The co-op has built a card lock at the Pilot View turnoff east of the city, while UFA has opened a similar facility at the Global Transportation Hub.
So what attracts us to the GTH is the Saskatchewan government has, in my mind, created such vision for growth. The GTH concept, the Global Transportation Hub, is a very necessary concept. There's such a high volume of heavy commercial traffic moving through this area.
That traffic would rather not drive through the city. The new facilities will allow truckers to fuel up along the bypass. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
A new primary health clinic is opening up in Fort Capel. This morning, a ribbon cutting took place for the Eagle's Nest Primary Health Care Clinic located beside All Nations Healing Hospital. The facility's main purpose is to cut down on emergency room wait times by providing treatment for less urgent medical issues. The medical center will initially operate Monday to Friday with the potential to expand to 6 or 7 days a week based on needs.
The clinic is a lot of First Nations understanding of health and medical needs, mental health, as well as the Western medical practices. And it's blending those 2 together because it's not just about prescribing medications. Sometimes it's about addressing mental health needs.
The clinic will be open to patients early next week. Kaknawishnaha First Nation north of Broadview has opened up an auto body shop to help train new technicians from the local communities. It's in a joint partnership between the Saskatchewan Indian Institute of Technologies and the Kaknawishnaha First Nation. The first group of 15 students already started the program 2 weeks ago with training running until December.
At the end of the day, we want to make sure that this learning space is for everybody. But in terms of Kaknawishnaha, our chief and council are really proud that we can work together with our trust to provide an opportunity to help change lives, help change families, and help challenge and combat the residential school effect through education and through opportunity.
Chief went on to say they will closely monitor the program and hopes to expand it sometime in the future. Speaking of expanding, Sabine, we're kind of expanding summer, at least when it comes to those warm temperatures right now.
Yeah, I mean, we are kind of mimicking what last year looked like. End of September, we saw 30-degree days, and that's what's looking like tomorrow for many areas of Saskatchewan, Lee, including right here in Regina. Today, we got up into the mid-20s for many parts of the province, and it's just going to be a great way to end September on a very warm note. As you can see behind me, not a whole lot happening in terms of active weather on the radar satellite. We've seen mostly sunny conditions. There was a little bit of precipitation that came through the southwest. Temperatures right now still sitting in the 20s. Some areas quite warm. Maple Creek, Kindersley currently sitting at 27 degrees. So very warm start to the week. We will start to see a little bit of a cool down as we head into the weekend, and I'll talk more about that coming up in the forecast. But the average normally is about 15, 16 degrees. We warmed up to just around 24 degrees late this afternoon. But along with these warm temperatures, the wind gusts, very strong wind gusts, will be returning heading into tonight and into tomorrow. But I'll have all those details coming up in your forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. We're getting more details into a fatal officer-involved shooting in Regina last week. The Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team says the shooting happened during a planned arrest related to an ongoing domestic violence investigation involving a 22-year-old man. Due to comments made by the man during a previous investigation, CERT says the RPS Tactical Support Team was called in to help in the arrest. After going to the man's residence in northwest Regina, police found him at another residence in East Regina. Police made entry and a confrontation took took place, leading to 3 members of the tactical support team firing their weapons. The man was pronounced dead a short time later. Search will now examine the conduct of police in the incident, including what led up to the man's death, with a full report being made public within 90 days of the investigation's conclusion. Cutting-edge investigative techniques have led to a major development in a century-old mystery in Saskatoon. CTV's Laura Woodward has details on how this cold case was cracked.
Nearly 20 years ago, a construction crew excavating this Saskatoon corner uncovered an old well. Inside were pieces of a wooden barrel and a woman's body. Her identity has been a mystery until now.
Alice Spence is not invisible anymore.
Forensic anthropologist Ernie Walker says Alice Spence's body was placed in a barrel and dropped down a well.
Unknown to the individual that dropped it, a piece of the cribbing of the well had broken loose and blocked the barrel from going all the way down to the bottom.
These composite drawings show what Spence may have looked like. While her body was discovered in 2006, police believe she died sometime between 1916 and 1918. Sergeant Darren Funk says he has evidence of who was involved in the death but refused to share the suspect's name.
We believe we know who did it, but it's 100 years old. That person does not have the right to defend themselves in court today, so we're going to leave it at that.
The case now considered closed. Saskatoon police partnered with Toronto police to identify Spence using investigative genetic genealogy, a relatively new tool that combines family tree research with DNA analysis.
We're happy to have been able to help with using this really powerful investigative tool.
Cindy Camp, Spence's great-granddaughter, admits she first thought the investigators' call was a scam.
The idea that someone was reaching out to us about a relative we didn't know under such unusual circumstances seemed too strange to be true.
Camp says her grandmother never spoke about her family, and she's grateful to finally have the details come to light.
Learning about Alice's life and the way she had been hidden away from history for so long is both surreal and emotional for our family.
Camp says she plans to get a gravestone made to honor her great-grandmother, whose story she now knows. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
In recognition of Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day on the weekend, Canadians came together to honor those that didn't return home. Police officers marched down Albert Street to the Saskatchewan Legislative Building, paying respect to officers who gave their lives to protect Canadians and communities. More than 900 peace officers across Canada have fallen, including 65 in Saskatchewan. Wreaths were laid by MP Michael Cram, Lieutenant Governor Bernadette McIntyre, along with others, in honor of all officers who have passed away.
It's very important. I mean, think of in terms of Remembrance Day. This is the Remembrance Day in specifics to our, I guess, the officers of Canada.
The event was part of a larger memorial service held in Ottawa at Parliament Hill.
Greetings, everyone. Living off the land was a way of life for Indigenous peoples for thousands of years in what is now known as North America. Now, with an ever-evolving agriculture sector, an event recently held near Batoche is intended to reinvigorate Indigenous involvement in that same industry. Caller Shinkarak explains.
This group is learning how to crush the seeds of choke cherries so the berries can be made into dried fruit. It's part of the Indigenous Farm and Food Festival held near Batoche.
Bringing people together to learn about Indigenous agriculture and food systems from communities all across Saskatchewan and into the prairies, and we've even got folks coming in from Ontario and British Columbia.
Just all my life.
Participants like Terry Lara from Cowessess First Nation. He runs one of the largest Indigenous farms in the province and stresses the importance of looking after the land so it continues to produce.
It's our own land, and if we look after it, if we farm it ourselves, we look after our own land. Whereas if someone else is farming your land, they're not necessarily putting all the inputs into the land.
Much of the nearly 1 million acres of Indigenous farmland in the province is leased out to non-Indigenous farmers. Currently, there are about 200 Indigenous farmers in Saskatchewan. Melissa Arcan says historically laws were put into place like restricting where Indigenous people could sell their product, which made it hard to compete.
So there's lots of different barriers that have been put into place that has really stifled Indigenous producers from being as successful as they initially were.
This event is hoping to change that. It started last year, growing from 1 day to 3. Other sessions here included a tractor ride to go see the buffalo herd, or how to dry corn and preserve it.
Food that could last a long time from season to season. Learning about the processes of how to process some Canadian geese and ducks. People can get their hands in and learn about the history of ancestral corn here on the prairies.
As for Lara, who's been farming his entire life, this event is a step in the right direction for Indigenous people and all of agriculture in Saskatchewan.
We've got to utilize our land to improve the lives of our own people, to be sustainable.
For Indigenous Circle, I'm Carla Shinkaruk in Batoche.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Still ahead, the feds in Ontario offer financial support for an Eastern Canada steel company. And the man who shot a Canadian on vacation in Wisconsin makes his first court appearance.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Ottawa and Ontario offered Canada's last remaining independent steel producer a financial lifeline today. The goal, to help the company find new markets and make new products as it tries to pivot to be less reliant on the U.S. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more on the support and how it's meant to be applied.
The federal and provincial governments are loaning this Ontario steel plant $500 million.
I think the critical part of it is it gives us the liquidity to pivot our business towards the future of Canada.
The bulk of the financial support, $400 million, is the first to come from a program Ottawa launched in March to help Canadian companies affected by Trump's tariffs. That money and the other $100 million the government of Ontario is lending is to help Algoma afford new equipment and retrain its workers, as the 50% tariff from the United States has effectively closed off what has for decades been a key market for this and other Canadian steelmakers.
If we don't have Canadian-owned steel companies, then we are vulnerable to the whims of other countries, other markets, and we can't have that.
The steel sector has already seen more than 1,000 layoffs since the trade war started.
The prospect of more is growing every day.
Both the minister and the local MPP framed the loan as an investment in Canadian industry.
We are fighting to protect a company that is truly a Canadian institution.
But the federal Conservatives said they'll be scanning the fine print.
Mark Carney is repeating the same Liberal talking points of the last 10 years, claiming that when he borrows and spends, it is an investment.
A federal official told CTV News today that Algoma is so far the only steel company in Canada to apply for this funding. Its CEO estimated today that it could take 18 months to 2 years for Algoma's plans to pivot to a domestic market to fully materialize. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the price of food in Canada is at a crisis level, and he's blaming Liberal policies and spending.
Inflation is caused by one thing, and only one thing, and that's government. Government spending and government taxes drive up the cost of food. Food prices should be plummeting, to be frank, because farmers produce far more food on far less land, with far less fertilizer, far less labor, far less water than ever before. So it would be, based on the market, food prices should be dropping dramatically every single year. Why are they going up?
Poilievre says there are 4 so-called grocery taxes that are increasing prices. He says the carbon tax, the food packaging tax, the fuel standard tax, and what he calls the inflation tax. And as a result, Canadians are spending an average of about $700 more a year on food. He also claims the budget in November will only make things worse. The search for 6-year-old Darius McDougall is still ongoing in the Crow's Nest Pass, more than a week since he disappeared, but RCMP admits his chance of survival is slim. RCMP did not provide any new information on Monday, but during an availability Sunday afternoon said that they're analyzing several factors, including what he was wearing when he disappeared, the terrain, the weather, and the amount of time the search has gone on. 200 search and rescue members, RCMP, and conservation officers are still looking for the 6-year-old, but crews admit the time has come to change some of their search tactics. RCMP also then went on to say that Darius was walking with family members Sunday, September 21st, when he became separated from the other children near the Alberta-BC boundary in the Crow's Nest Pass. Police say there is no indication of foul play. All right, we are learning more about the shooting death of a Canadian man killed while on a golf trip to Wisconsin. The suspect arrested and charged with first-degree reckless homicide made a court appearance today. CTV's John Valley-Rao has more.
The accused made a video appearance in a Wisconsin courthouse. 35-year-old Luis Cruz Burgos read his rights using a Spanish interpreter and charged with first-degree reckless homicide in the death of Mike Robinson, who grew up in Stouffville, Ontario, and who'd been on a golfing trip with friends and family when things went horribly wrong. A murder that stunned locals.
I'm shocked. I don't even really know what to say.
This was Robinson last week celebrating a hole-in-one. Afterwards, he and 3 other men went to celebrate at a bar in Sheboygan, which is north of Milwaukee. A criminal complaint lays out how Robinson and the others tried to get an Uber back to their hotel at around midnight, and failing that, approached Cruz Burgos, a DoorDash driver, for 9 months and tried to negotiate paying him for a lift. Police obtained surveillance picking up the sound of their interaction. One man said he wasn't going to give the driver $40 for 5 minutes of work, and they walked away. Another man said Cruz Burgos drove off, but then doubled back. That's when he heard a pop and Robinson say, "I'm dying." The 32-year-old passed away from a single gunshot wound to the chest. His wife gave birth to a baby girl just 6 weeks ago.
My brother was one of a kind, and he touched a lot of people's hearts.
That charge has not been proven yet.
In the criminal complaint, Cruz Burgos claims the men called him stupid, and one of them flipped him off, and he says he didn't shoot anyone. In court, authorities said he has no known criminal record. Upon news of his arrest, the Robinson family issued a statement to local media, expressing our deepest gratitude to the police department for acting swiftly and making the arrest. If convicted, Cruz Burgos could face up to 60 years in prison. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe has been set up to support Robinson's family, which has so far raised almost $250,000. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
In New York, Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister addressed the UN General Assembly.
Russia's aggression, attacks on civilians, and abduction of children are flagrant violations of international law. Putin believed Ukraine would fall in 3 days. 3.5 years later, Ukraine still stands, its sovereignty intact, its people unbowed, its courage unbroken. Canada's position is clear. Putin cannot be permitted to redraw boundaries at his will.
Anita Anand says Ukraine is not backing down. Neither are its friends that include Canada. She also called on Hamas to release hostages being held in Gaza and Israel to help protect civilians in the territory, as well as open land corridors for humanitarian aid. Meanwhile, in Washington, Donald Trump outlined his plan today for an end to the war between Israel and Hamas.
Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed, and in writing in many cases, but I actually would take their word for it, the people I mentioned, I'd take their word for it, to demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas.
The U.S. president detailed the proposal during a joint news conference with Israel's prime minister at the White House. It calls for an immediate end to hostilities and remaining hostages to be released by Hamas. Israeli troops would be withdrawn and an international security force would be deployed. Hamas would be required to decommission its weapons and have no role in administering Gaza. Coming up, honoring a longtime football coach in the city of Prince Albert.
Saskatchewan's minimum wage is going up. Wednesday on Your Morning, we are learning about the impact on you and a business's bottom line.
Welcome back. A beautiful shot through our sky cam. The sun is starting to set earlier. I think last I checked, we were sitting at about 12 hours of daylight now. So the sun is starting to set earlier, but it doesn't mean we're getting any cooler as we head into October. 22 is what we're sitting at right now, warmed up to 24 in the Regina area. Winds currently just over 20, but they were gusting up to about 40, 45 late this afternoon, and they are expected to be gusting even higher heading into this evening. Now, again, not much to show you on what we experienced today. It was mostly clear conditions. Did see a little bit of scattered precipitation late this afternoon coming into the southwest and some cloud cover in the north. For most of Saskatchewan, though, we saw mainly sunny conditions for most of the day. Now, we will still see a little bit of this cloud cover lingering, and we could see just trace amounts of that cloud cover throughout parts of central and southern Saskatchewan. But as we head into tonight, again, the main story is the winds gusting up to about 55, 60 kilometers an hour in parts of Saskatchewan tonight and into tomorrow, expecting those wind gusts still staying around 50 as we head into tomorrow. Now, along with the wind gusts, we are still going to see that warmer weather, warmer temperatures come our way, but just something to keep in mind. I know many will be taking in a number of activities tomorrow for Truth and Reconciliation Day. So the weather will be great if you are spending time outdoors. I believe there is a walk in the Regina area scheduled for tomorrow as well. So take in the activities. The temperatures will be great. Make sure you're still staying hydrated and have that sun or heat protection if you are spending long amounts of time outdoors. And then we will eventually see some of that cloud cover come through Tuesday night, along with a slight chance of some precipitation around the Saskatoon, just west of Saskatoon area. But other than that, it's mostly the cloud cover that'll arrive by Wednesday. First thing in the morning, seeing a little bit more of that cloud cover, but that will also clear, leaving us with mainly sunny conditions for part of Wednesday and then into Thursday as well. We could continue to expect to see mainly sunny conditions for the rest of this week, but there are a couple days there that we could see a little bit more of that cloud cover rolling through. Temperatures tonight, again, the average low is usually about 1 + 2, so very warm temperatures tonight. 13 for La Loche, 11 for L'Orange, and 12 for Lloydminster. But heading into tomorrow, another above average day, even up north, 19 for La Loche, 21 for L'Orange, 22 for Lloydminster, and Prince Albert. Tonight, 8 degrees, seeing some cloud cover rolling in, but tomorrow mainly sunny and 26 degrees. Taking a look at areas around Saskatoon, 28 is the expected high tomorrow. Could get cloudier tonight. Mainly sunny tomorrow, though, for Saskatoon. 29 for Yorkton, a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. And North Battleford, seeing a little bit more of that cloud cover. Just with that little area, we're going to see a little bit of that scattered precipitation coming through that area as well. So mostly cloudy for North Battleford, 25 degrees there. The southwest, all very close to 30, if not within 30. Moose Jaw, 31 tomorrow, sunshine there. 28, a mix of sun and cloud for Swift Current. And Maple Creek, 27 with a mix of sun and cloud. And again, warm conditions tonight as well with clear skies. Over in the southeast, even warmer. 31 for Weyburn, 30 for Estevan with a mix of sun and cloud. And Assiniboia expecting to get up to 29 tomorrow with mainly sunny conditions. Now, taking a closer look at Regina tonight there, we will again see those winds pick up quite a bit tonight. if you have any furniture or cushions outdoors, you might want to bring them in, up to about 55 kilometers an hour tonight, and then up to 50 tomorrow. But temperatures also climbing up to 30 degrees tomorrow. Nothing but sunshine expected for much of the day tomorrow. In terms of your next 7 days, you will start to see a gradual cool down. So again, 30 tomorrow and sunny, 27 on Wednesday, nothing but sunshine there. And then by Thursday, the temperatures come into about 23 degrees, winds up to 40, mainly sunny conditions. And by Friday, a little bit more cloud cover rolling in. Temperatures slowly starting to dip. 19 degrees on Friday. Saturday, 19 as well. A lot of sunshine expected, but the high wind gusts returning up to about 50 for Saturday. By Sunday, quite a bit of a cool down. 13 degrees expected as your daytime high on Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud. And then starting your first full week of October by next Monday, 12 degrees and seeing a mix of sun and clouds. Winds will start to calm a bit, but by next week, we will start to see a little bit more of that transition when it comes temperature-wise. We'll start to see those temperatures maybe even dipping below what the average is. Again, the average right now is about 15 degrees. So by next Monday, expecting a daytime high of about 12. We're going to be into that real sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Are we going to be done with the 20s then, do you think? Or do you think we might see something a little later on?
I mean, we might not see a day like what we're expecting tomorrow into the 30s, but we could still possibly see around a 20-degree day.
Okay. Thanks, Sabine.
You bet. Bye.
Well, across Saskatchewan, there are plenty of football fields named after people pivotal to the sport's success. In Regina, Leibel Field's named after a minor football organizer, Charles Leibel. Taylor Field, named after Piffles Taylor, rugby football player turned coach later in life. Well, Jasmine Pelche introduces us to a man behind a newly named field in Prince Albert.
On Saturday, a group of more than 40 people gathered on a football field in East Prince Albert in recognition of a coach who helped PA minor football become what it is today. Until his passing in 2018, Wendell Witter coached the Pee Wee Prince Albert River Riders. He began coaching when the first team started in 2008.
I'm very thankful every day that to have known Wendell and for him to have the influence on my life and on, as we've said, countless players and families' lives through his involvement in our sport.
On Saturday, the field was officially renamed in his honor as the Wendell Witter Field.
He was a very humble man. He probably would have, shied away from it or turned it down, not thinking that it was warranted or deserved or earned. But there would be a great sense of pride. He may not show it, but definitely would be proud of what happened here today.
PA minor football president Taras Kichkowski said Witter was responsible for creating the city's indoor flag football program, among other community contributions. Kichkowski says he was also a pastor at his church.
Naming this field after Wendell is so fitting. Wendell probably spent more time on this field over a 10-year span than any other person. He was first here, the last to leave, and always showed up for his coaches, players, and his parents.
The field is located at 998 Brannion Drive. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Still ahead, the Moose Jaw Warriors continue to light the lamp early on this season.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
In a WHL's Eastern Conference, there is only one team that is yet to lose a game this young season.
Center ice, going wide left and then slowly making his way through the middle. Lakovic scores!
Lyndon Lakovic back from NHL camp, pair of goals, one on a penalty shot there as the Warriors beat Swift Current 6-1. Moose Jaw is 3-0 with 21 goals. That's an average of 7 goals per game. They'll be tested next Friday at home when they host Edmonton. The loss drops Swift Current to 2-1. They'll host Vancouver Friday, while the Pats still searching for their first win. They'll entertain Edmonton on Wednesday. Now, although this past weekend was a disappointing result for Canada's women's rugby team losing to England in the Rugby World Cup final, those watching in our country were extremely proud. In terms of local talent, Gabrielle Senft was the player to watch for most people watching here in Regina. One of the best athletes to come out of Regina nationally and compete internationally. Leaders in the Regina rugby world feel as though this big moment for the sport can really help the province and the nation. Canada's second-place finish ties their highest placement ever at the event. They also won silver in 2014. The sport of darts is continuing to grow across the prairies, especially in Saskatchewan. The Saskatchewan Darts Association hosted an open tournament in Regina on the weekend to encourage youth and individuals to get into the sport. Players traveled from Manitoba, Alberta, and across the province to compete against each other, practicing their techniques. Welcoming people of all ages and skill levels, participants say they see a steady increase in involvement.
Sometimes the game can be very frustrating because I play a better game in my head than I do when I actually throw the darts. But I like the challenge, and I like playing players that are better than me because it brings your game up.
Since people now know that I play, and some of my friends are like, yo, let's go play darts and stuff. So hopefully, the more youth, hopefully I can inspire the youth, which I have some already with the younger kids. They look up to me, so that's good.
By the way, Kempton is among 4 people who will be taking his dart skills to Budapest, Hungary, participating in an international competition next month. And Blue Jay baseball fans across Saskatchewan on cloud 9 this week after the team won the AL East for the first time since 2015, earning a bye to the American League Division Series versus either the Yankees or Red Sox. Sean Lathong has more on the excitement across Jays Nation.
A celebration a decade in the making. The Toronto Blue Jays are American League East champions.
It's a very fulfilling feeling because this group is so close, and it's the first division title in a long time here, so I'm happy for every fan in the city.
Clinching the division at home on the last day of the season is a statement, but not an ending, according to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I love this team and I love the city, so I feel so happy to win with this city.
Where do we go from here?
Job is not finished, so we got to keep going and we got to keep winning.
Now that the champagne has dried up, there's a new phrase surrounding this team. We want it all, as fans continue to revel in the excitement.
Absolutely awesome. They deserved it. They worked hard and they ground all season long, got the finish they needed.
Inside the Jays shop, merchandise marking the division champs is going fast.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6 shirts and a hat. Bring back to the family, and we're all really excited about the postseason.
Divisional champs. My dad was wearing the one from 2015 last night, so I had to get him a new one.
Gotta get it updated, eh?
Yeah.
Many of the fans in here were at yesterday's game, and they came from across Canada, like David and Jim Flather from Winnipeg, who attended their first ever home game.
Unbelievable. We show up for our first game and there's a grand slam. I mean, what are the odds?
And a drive to deep left field. Gone!
Alejandro Kirk's first inning grand slam would be all the Jays needed yesterday, bringing 42,000 fans to their feet. 2 of those fans, 8-year-old Isaac and 11-year-old Alex Fairhurst from Calgary, have a positive outlook for the playoffs.
How far can they go?
Really far.
World Series?
Yep.
What do you think?
World Series as well.
Coming up, Regina police hope to spark a memory in this week's Crime Stoppers.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your forecast for rural Saskatchewan tomorrow. Still looking quite nice and quite warm. May not quite get to the 30s, but we're still going to see many of those temperatures get to the mid-high 20s. Some areas seeing mainly sunny conditions. Other areas closer to the Alberta border, just where more of that cloud cover and a little bit of rain will be coming in from the west. Could see a little bit more of that cloud cover. So 23 for Lloydminster and cloudy conditions there. Mostly cloudy for Spiritwood, 23. Mostly cloudy for Meadow Lake, 22 degrees. But then when we take a look at areas like Melfort, Watrous, Outlook, Wynyard, all mainly sunny, 28 degrees tomorrow. Hudson Bay, 27 and sunny, and Kindersley, 26 with a mix of sun and cloud. Closer to the southern border, more temperatures in the 30s. Lumsden, Pilot Butte, Coronach, 30 degrees. 24 and mostly cloudy for East and Cypress, but Carlisle, mix of sun and cloud, 28 degrees. Broadview, 29 and a mix of sun and cloud. So very warm temperatures expected for many parts of Saskatchewan tomorrow, including areas like Delisle, located about 40 kilometers southwest of Saskatoon, and where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. Tomorrow, 29 degrees. Wind's not too bad for the day, but by the evening, there is a low chance that thunderstorm could come through the area. Could see some precipitation. As of right now, looks like it's about 1 to 3 millimeters of rain expected tomorrow night.
The incident happened the evening of Friday, August 22nd at a residence on the 1000 block of McTavish Street. Around 6 p.m. that summer night, a house fire broke out, police now suspecting arson. An unknown woman was seen leaving the residence from the back prior to the fire starting. The woman was wearing a red Jordan brand t-shirt and had dark shoulder-length hair.
I'm Belton Johnson, board member with Regina CrimeStoppers. Did you know CrimeStoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash rewards for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina? Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call CrimeStoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
Look at the stock markets, both on the way up. TSX by 210 points, Dow Jones by 68 points. Canadian dollar went up 0.08 of a cent to 71.83 cents U.S. Commodity fronts, gold up $73.56 today. West Texas Intermediate crude down $2.13, while Western Canadian Select crude was up by 58 cents. And last time we checked, gas, it's kind of ghostly how that's working, isn't it? Gas commonly found in Regina for $1.35.9 cents per liter.
TD Bank is promising to slash costs and boost revenue under its new CEO. Raymond Chun is looking to deliver $2 to $2.5 billion in annual savings, in part by automating and using artificial intelligence. The bank is also looking to grow its wealth management business and plans to hire 1,200 new advisors in Canada. Another day and another new tariff threat from Donald Trump. He now wants to put a 100% tariff on movies not made in America. There aren't many details, like whether this would only affect movies in theaters or movies that also stream. The CEO of Barrick Mining is out. Mark Bristow had been with the company for 7 years. Mark Hill is the interim chief executive officer. Barrick produces gold and copper, but has struggled to keep some of its mines on target, including its operation in Mali. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Coming up tonight on the news, after the newscast, we've got The Voice at 7 o'clock, 2-hour show, followed by Celebrity Weakest Link, Big Bang Theory E-Talk, and then you've got national and local news. By the way, Latin singing sensation Bad Bunny set to make history as the headliner for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show.
I will say his music is quite fun. The Puerto Rican superstar announced the news on social media, confirming he'll perform at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California on February 8th. Bad Bunny released his latest album earlier this year. He's now set to become the first solo Latin act to take the stage at the Super Bowl.
The only question is who's going to be at the Super Bowl.
We got some time to figure that out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, the world's tallest bridge is now open to traffic, soaring over a massive canyon in southwest China.
The Haojiang Grand Canyon Bridge rises 625 meters high, so the CN Tower Toronto is 553 meters high, so this is higher. The new bridge stretches nearly 2,900 meters across, and not only is it functional, it's expected to be a tourist destination with a glass observation deck and adventure activities. That sounds terrible.
What? You wouldn't go on that?
Well, I have a fear of heights, so that's not exactly my thing.
That's a problem. Yeah.
I've seen Final Destination.
Oh.